morning, good afternoon, good evening, love people. How are you all doing today? I hope you can hear me. I'm challenging myself this morning, trying to making this video while I walk up a hill. So hopefully you can hear me and I'm not panting too much. So yes, how are you all doing today? Where are you watching me from around the world? As usual, I like to say thank you. Thank you ever so much for joining me in another session of Minnie's Mental Health. Yes, so on today's topic, I'm going to be talking about friendship and friends. And so we all know the value of good friends, making good friends, but more importantly, keeping them. And that's for us adults. It's something that we've known from being sort of like at school or just growing up, really. Pardon me, I'm trying to multitask at the same time. So the Bible, and there's a Proverbs in the Bible, and talks about iron sharpening iron, and that so does one sharpen another. So we all know that the kind of influence we have around us, especially for friends, especially the young children, whether they're toddlers, most especially teenagers, their friends kind of like shape their world. And even to us as adults, our friends sort of like set the tone for our lifestyles, the kind of friends we choose, we keep. So how much more for young children, basically. I would like to ask you basically, what sort of friends did you have when you were growing up? What friends do your children have? What friends do you allow for them to have? Because sincerely, the parents and caregivers, it's our responsibility to sort of safeguard our children. In this regard, basically, we cannot blame their friends for causing them to sort of be delinquent or misbehave when those friends were made under our watch, or let me say they should have been made under our watch. So that's another point, actually. Do we know our friends, do we know our children's friends? Do we know what friends they have? Do they have secret friends? Have you ever taken time to look through their phone, talk to them about their friends, talk to the people that know them, such as their siblings, maybe if they go to the same school, about the kind of friends they have and the sort of influence? We all know too well, the sad sort of occurrences that can happen when people have friends that are just into, for example, crime. We hear all these stories in America, especially of, wrong influences. Someone, just because that person was a friend of let's say another person, a young child that committed a crime, and then they get sentenced. And as we know, in America, they're not really lenient when it comes to sentences. Sentencing because of association, you know what I mean? So those kind of stories, for me, they're just sobering to say that the kind of friends we keep or the kind of friends we make, and then ideally, obviously, as per my channel and the aim of my channel and my passion, the kind of friends our children keep will kind of determine their direction and their destination. So it's very, very, for me, it's kind of sobering, even because I have a toddler. even I'm starting like this conversation or this topic is making me think, wow, even the friends that he keeps for now, obviously now, the friendships is still sort of innocent, I should hope, at his nursery. The friends are still children, they have a level of innocence unless they're exposed to what they shouldn't be, which does happen sadly. And sadly as well, it does happen that, let's say like your child has let me use a toddler has a friend that is a toddler, but sadly that toddler is exposed to pornography, for example, because it does happen sadly. We should we should be very vigilant and alert as to knowing what is actually happening in the lives of our children, their friendships, and obviously if we detect any sort of strange behaviors or changes in how they talk, the way they act, no matter their age, if they're still under your care, then you still have that role and responsibility. Then we should take action as parents and caregivers. And I'm sorry to say as well, I want to emphasize this point. Pardon me. As I said, I'm multitasking today, and I'm out and about. So I worked in a school once, a behavioral school to be exact, where the scenario was a group of young boys ranging from the ages of 9 to 11. The three of them had a solid friendship. They were friends, but when they took their friendship online via the PlayStation games, some of these PlayStation games, they can chat and everything. There was one particular boy within that friendship that would bully the other. And then when myself and my colleagues at the time informed his parents, especially the dad was kind of like apologetic and said that he didn't want to sort of break their friendship. And in my head I was kind of reasoning, I'm like, Dad, obviously I didn't tell that to him because it's at his discretion, it's his child, but my reasoning was like, Dad, you are the parent, you have authority, and your son is being bullied on a regular basis online. So of course this sort of friendship is kind of pretentious in a way. I don't know how 9 and 11-year-olds know how to do this, but they do, especially this boy, because they were all in one class as well, the class that I was teaching in. And I was like, why don't you stand up for your son? So you'd rather him continue to get bullied, and this is online bullying, which is more emotional, psychological. You'd rather that than him for him to keep this basically vindictive friend that seems all nice when they're together in class, but online he's a vicious bully. Oh gosh. Anyway, I was shocked. I wouldn't lie. I was really, really shocked, and I was really sad for that young boy, because if anything, his dad should have been the one, in my opinion, to sort of protect him and immediately take a course of action, against his friend, which is so simple. Just delete the account on the video game. I don't know how you do it. Anyway, I'm not a video game person, but people do know how to do it, and just like talk to your son, But anyway, as I said, each to their own, isn't it? But that's just for me an example of how like friendship influence can either like discredit a person's personality, their self-esteem, or it can actually like encourage them, motivate them. I know of friends, and thank God answered my prayers and blessed me with good friends, because there was a time when I was like, I actually need good friends in my life, especially coming to the UK. So I prayed, I asked God to please bless me with good friends, and I've seen that, like, I have really good friends, people who are visionaries, people who when we're together, we encourage each other, we pray for each other, we inspire each other. Like, it's just amazing. So I should hope that as a parent, especially now, like, more people would want their children to be around good influence. Because I'll tell you, I'll give you an example as well, just quick one. Sorry, because this is one of my very, very a topic that I'm very passionate about, that has helped my life. I used to live with some friends that were really into working out in the house, and I was anti-exercising anything. But because of them consistently working out, I ended up joining them, and it ended up being like beneficial to me. Obviously, physically, I was looking more healthy, I was stronger, and I started eating like they're eating, like good influence. Why don't we want our children to be around good influence? Like, I don't understand sometimes. But anyway, those are just my own personal experiences. So I'll leave you at that. I can chat away. How about you? What kind of friends did you have growing up? As I asked before, what kind of friends are you allowing your children to have, no matter their age, if they're still in your house, if they're still under your care? And to be honest, as the saying goes, a mother's work is never done, so is a father's work never done. Like, your children will still be your children at any age. Obviously, your influence, the level of your influence how can I say, reduces as they get older, I suppose. Or it depends. If you're best friends with your children, that influence still continues. So yeah, so what is your experience? Please share, please like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy my content, if you enjoy my wholesome relevant content. Please do subscribe and share with your friends. Okay, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on my next video. Take care now. God bless. Bye.